President Obama has warned Hurricane Irene could be extremely dangerous and costly and urged Americans to take the threat seriously. For more on the path of the hurricane and its potential damage, we're joined once again by Bernie Rayno with AccuWeather. Bernie, the storm has weakened somewhat. Do you expect it could gain strength? And what part of the U.S. could see the worst damage at this point?
Well, the good news is, Rhonda, you're right, it has weakened. Category 2 hurricane, but we're still talking about winds of 105 miles per hour sustained. It will probably remain right near that strength as we, over the next 24 hours, landfall near Cape Lookout, North Carolina, late Sunday morning, then a turn to the north-northeast. And remember, that's a 1 in 50-year track. Those tracks don't usually happen coming right up the eastern seaboard. The worst areas to get hit are going to be the Outer Banks, North Carolina, Norfolk, Virginia, then the right up the mid-Atlantic along the shore in New Jersey up toward New York City. The I-95 corridor is going to get hit hard. New York City, Philadelphia, Washington, D.C., Baltimore, down toward Richmond.
Bernie, you've been watching this storm for days. I'm sure that's all you've been doing. What's your biggest concern when you look at these maps? I mean, what's running through the back of your mind?
What's running through the back of my mind is that if the storm does not weaken quickly, that it can, I hate to use the word shut down New York City. I don't know if I want to go that strong, but I certainly think the transportation, the communications can be severely compromised. New York City, Philadelphia, all the way down toward the eastern shore. The fact that there's also going to be over a half a foot of rain from the I-95 corridor on east means that you're going to have an enormous amount of trees and power lines down. I'm looking for a way out, Rhonda, and the way out would be a quick weakening and a turn to the east. I don't see that happening, so President Obama is saying could. I'm going to tell you it will cause major damage in this whole area.
Many, of course, are choosing to evacuate ahead of the hurricane. Bernie, when does it become too late to leave? Certainly memories of Katrina, we know that there were people who could not get out or chose not to get out. We have governors and mayors telling people to leave now. When do they miss their opportunity?
Well, in the Outer Banks of North Carolina, you need to leave now. Once you head up farther north, once you get to the Jersey Shore, I think you really start you should be leaving now as well. Saturday morning would be the absolute latest, but when the mandatory evacuations are issued, that's your time to get out. The preparation should have been occurring in the last 24, 30 hours.
And in terms of damage, and I know these things are hard to predict, Bernie, but potentially what would be worse, the flooding or the winds, or is it all just going to be equally bad?
Well, the problem is with hurricanes, a lot of times you cannot just pick one. They all come into a recipe, and that's what causes the damage. See, it's not like a thunderstorm that sometimes produces rain, and then sometimes you have the damage with the wind. In a hurricane, you get the wind, you get the rain, and then along the coast you get the storm surge, but everything is heightened, and that's the problem. There is going to be an enormous amount of beach erosion and beach damage from the Outer Banks right up the Jersey Shore, and unfortunately a lot of these beaches are going to be changed.
Bernie Rayno with AccuWeather, thanks so much for that update, Bernie. You can follow the path of Hurricane Irene at Reuters.com. And of course, stay tuned for the updates, the very latest news here on Reuters Insider. I'm Rhonda Schaffler. This is Reuters.